What's going on, you guys? Welcome back for another day of working on the S13. I am super excited for today's project because it's going to be a huge visual change to the interior, and it's the last piece of the interior that requires some sort of modification before we get to the bolt-in and stock stuff. This should be pretty straightforward. Yes, I'm talking about the carpet. Let me show you what we're working with. So this is a brand new carpet kit from a company called AC Carpets, I believe. This came with the car, and it's a great looking carpet. And I've seen a lot of other people in the S chassis community use this carpet as a replacement because obviously you can't buy a factory carpet anymore. The one downside to this is that you have to cut out all of the spots for the stuff on the transmission tunnel, for the seats, anything that you need access to that the stock carpet would have had holes for, this one does not. So we're gonna have to make our own. Now, unfortunately, I don't have the stock carpet for this S13, but I do have the factory carpet from my S14, which I was planning on putting back in the car. Now, I'm hoping that this is the same as the S13 and fits right in this car. But what I'm worried about is that there's some sort of width difference and it doesn't fit perfectly in. So we're gonna go ahead and start by putting this in the car to see if this does fit up, because then we have somewhat of a template to work with on this carpet that's gonna make our life much, much easier. Otherwise, we're just gonna have to kind of look at that as a reference point and just work with the car and carpet to get it to fit. Got the carpet loosely in, and I'm thinking that these are pretty much the same. The one big difference here that I'm seeing is on the transmission tunnel. This piece here on the S13 must not be there on the S14. So I'm gonna pull this piece off because it's just connected with 3 bolts, and then see if this sitting down on the transmission tunnel lets the carpet sit where it wants to. Because you can see in the back here, we're very close. This is sitting how it should. We've got the same carpet hump over here. The seat mounts are lining up. So it would make sense that Nissan wouldn't change a lot of this between generations just for cost savings. So I think that this is gonna be a really good template for us. You can even see up here, all 3 of those line up as well for the dead pedal over here, and then the accelerator like stop point back there. So this is definitely gonna be very helpful. What a relief. The S14 carpet fits the S13 in like 95% of places. So over the transmission tunnel, you can see this is gonna be a great template. And I'm really glad that I decided to unbolt this because this clearly bolts over the top of the carpet. The S14 likely has the exact same thing. And we'll just need to leave it cut out there and then actually cut this a little bit further up. I'm gonna leave this carpet intact just like this on the new carpet because it's gonna help hold it over the transmission tunnel. You can see this fits pretty nicely around here. We may have to do a little more massaging on the new carpet, but great template there. These holes line up for where the seat mounts up in the front. We've got the seat mount here and here. So those are the big concerns. The edges, you can see like back here sits really nicely. You can get this one to sit, but it seems like it's sitting up a little bit high, and I don't know if that's just a difference between the S13 and S14. So the edges are gonna take a little bit of work. That's honestly one of my bigger concerns, but I'm just super glad that we're gonna be able to get the carpet to fit over the top of the transmission tunnel and know where all of those points are that we need to cut. The S14 factory carpet is back out of the car. Now we've got the new S13 carpet. You can see how much darker this is than the factory. And I really, really like how this looks. It makes me almost wanna do the same thing in the S14. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Let me know in the comment section down below if you think I should do a new carpet kit like this rather than put the stock carpet back in the S14. This has been cleaned and like it looks really nice for a stock carpet, but there's just something about that pure black carpet. So I'm gonna go ahead and lay this over the top of this and start using this as a template to get the transmission tunnel points cut, and we're working on transferring everything over to this carpet so it'll fit in the car. And it'll be really interesting to see how much we have to cut off the edges of this to make it closer in size to this. Okay, I'm feeling good about where the carpet is sitting on here, specifically on the transmission tunnel. So I'm gonna start working on these little cutouts here to go all along the transmission tunnel. And just kind of work along the center here. It appears that there's quite a bit that's gonna need to be cut off the back. You know, I suppose we could leave it and just kind of let it go up a little bit higher than the stock carpet does, or maybe that'll cause an issue. But I'm definitely gonna not cut too much right away and just start here, start working on some of the seat holes, and then we can start working this into the car and figuring out where we really need to cut along the edges to make this thing fit. This is working so well. So you can see I've got all of the cuts made along the transmission tunnel. There's a bunch of excess material along the back that I'm just gonna leave till we get it in the car and take a look at kind of how that lays. I don't wanna mess with the edges too much because I wanna make sure that we've got plenty of material there. But up here, I know this line is good. So you can see I've worked on cutting this line to match over here. I still need to do this line over here, and I'm gonna film that for you guys. Obviously we have a bunch of excess material over there, and then we got to get the holes cut for all the seat mounts. Okay, we are at a point where I believe I have everything cut that we need to have cut to put this in the car, at least for the first time. So everything along the transmission tunnel is done. The front lines have been cut here. I've cut out the excess on the corners here. All of our seat mounting holes have been cut. The things that we haven't touched are the outer perimeter on these three sides. This one I think could be left if we wanted to, just have it fold up a little bit higher under the back seat. And then I want to take a look at these in the car to make sure we're getting those perfectly where they need to be so that this carpet fits nicely. But I'm gonna go and throw this in the car and start looking at how this is fitting. And hopefully everything fits just like it did from the factory. All right, what's up you guys? It's been a few hours since I filmed that last clip, and I have been messing with the carpet, trying to get it to fit in and seeing if we could make it work. Unfortunately, very quickly after I put the carpet in the car, I realized I may have made some mistakes when cutting it. So the transmission tunnel itself is perfect. Everything there lined up super nicely. Where we started to run into issues was the holes for the seats. I don't know if just the way that the carpet was laid out underneath the S14 carpet that they got slightly off. I was able to salvage most of them, like 7 of the 8 holes are bolted in. 2 of them I'm not very happy because you can see, you know, bare metal below it because the hole wasn't in the exact right spot, so it's kind of stretched to fit there. And one of them is just way off, and there's 2 other spots that I'm concerned about that for the $200 that it was for a new carpet, it was just worth it for me to replace it. But I did put the center console in and start putting like the seat rails in to see if I could get those bolt holes lined up. So we're getting a good idea of what this car is gonna look like with carpet in here, and it's super nice. This kit from stockinteriors.com is amazing. I would definitely buy it again. I am buying it again, but I would highly recommend it to you guys too. So you can see the carpet started to get fit in here. And the carpet itself, like I said, is beautiful. I'm super happy with the quality of this kit. Started to get the seat brackets bolted down. Now let me show you where we started running into a couple issues, or at least places that I couldn't quite live with. So the first and probably one of the most egregious in my opinion is this one along the side of the center console here. So when I put this in the car, I did a little more trimming to make it fit around the bracket that holds this better. And honestly, I think I should have just made it fit around it or taken the bracket off, because we ended up with this, and that is just, even if you can't see it, like just looking down from the passenger seat, that's horrible in my opinion and not acceptable on a build that is gonna be this quality when it's done. We've got one more over here. You can see this hole right here. So I accidentally cut this this is where the S14 seatbelt goes, and I thought that it was the same on the 13 as well. I'm worried that even with the cover there, it's just short, and you would see red through there. Again, just something I can't live with. Then we've got this over here. Nothing, again, nothing super major. I know I'm being really, really picky, but I feel like I need to be for this build and the things that I want to hopefully do with the car. But yeah, just can't have that. One of my followers on Instagram actually gave me a cool tip that to use a socket and heat it up and then burn the hole for the bolt, and then you'll have a perfect circle there. So I think I definitely want to try that with the new carpet. And I think the best plan of attack is cut the center console with the S14 carpet like I did, but then immediately put the carpet in the car and use the actual holes to align where they need to be. And then we'll use the socket technique and burn perfect holes for that. And obviously we won't cut extra holes there. And I will leave this super tight along here, but you get the idea. It's gonna look so good in here. Imagine this with the bride seats. Actually, I think we should throw one in here just because we didn't get as far as we wanted to today. Give you a little something at the end here. Well, it's kind of oddly resting in there, but you definitely get the idea. You can see I even got the rear quarter piece back there. That piece is so clean. There's a little peek of what's to come. All the interior plastics look like that. It's ridiculous, you guys. We got the seat kind of resting in there on the black carpet. It's gonna look so clean once all of this comes together. Now, unfortunately for me, I need to take all of this back out so that when the new carpet comes, I'm prepared for that. It's not all that much to take out, really. I just need to unbolt all this stuff. Take that out, it's just clipped in a couple spots. So it won't take too long, but I'm gonna go ahead and get this stuff out. I'm not gonna film any of it because you guys have already seen it going, you don't need to see that. But we'll catch you in a second here to explain what this means for the build and the timeline of what's to come. All right, you guys, I'm gonna show you my sins here. So here you can see where that bracket is, basically this kind of gap between it. Like I just need to get basically, man, just another quarter to a half inch and just let it run up there so it's totally tucked up in there. You can see here, like my original hole for this was right here. We had to modify it a little bit to get it there. You wouldn't see this one with the bracket, so that one was kind of a little more hidden. But this one down here was one of the ones where it's like I almost had to make a completely secondary hole, and that's where it started to become visible with the bracket. Otherwise, up here, absolutely perfect, flawless. So unfortunately, I couldn't get that all the way throughout, but I definitely know what I need to do better moving forward. Okay, the carpet is officially back out of the car, and that was really just me doing future me a favor so that when the new carpet came, we were just ready to go. And unfortunately, this video is not ending quite where I wanted it to. All right, you guys, it is the next day, Wednesday, which is when you're gonna be seeing this video. And I just wanna say, this is a prime example of a good opportunity to put things in perspective. Like at the end of the day, this is just a carpet. Fortunately, it's only $200 and I'm at a point where that's something that I can afford. And this is a project car that I am lucky to have. Like no one's sick. This is an easily fixable thing. The biggest bummer about it is that I'm going out of town on the 26th for 2 weeks, and I really want to have the interior on it finished this week so I could just have that constant content on this car for the next 2 weeks while I was gone. So that's the biggest thing that I'm bummed about with this, but at the end of the day, we're gonna be just 2 weeks behind and we'll be back on track when I get home after New Year's. So in the next video, I decided that I'm gonna do kind of the untold story of this car because there's a lot of stuff that I realized that I didn't even talk about in the first video that just make this car even cooler, and I think you guys will really appreciate about the car. So that'll be on Saturday, and then there's a secret project that I've been planning behind the scenes with a lot of cool sponsors that I haven't said much about, but I haven't said anything about. I've given you guys a little hints if you follow me on Instagram, which if you don't, you should. Avenged Media on Instagram. But that's gonna be starting next week. So while I'm out of town and we're waiting for the S13 carpet, please show the secret project video some love when that drops. It's gonna be a ton of fun. For the OGs, Lewis is gonna be back on the channel, and it's gonna be a really good opportunity for me just to get behind the camera and film a super sick cinematic build series that I think you guys are gonna really like. So until then, I will see you guys in the next one. I put 2 videos up here on the screen for you to check out in the meantime. It really does help me if you watch those, and I'll see you guys soon.